Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wonder why some experiments seem to have a hidden rhythm that might actually be messing with your results? Think about it. If you were taking a test or playing a game, and the same type of question kept popping up over and over again, would you start to get bored, or maybe even guess the pattern? That is a huge problem in psychology because it can ruin data. When we run studies, we want to make sure that our results come from the participant actually thinking and not just reacting to a boring repetitive sequence. Imagine a researcher designing a memory test. If the computer keeps flashing the same type of image 10 times in a row, the person taking the test might start getting distracted or rely on a pattern instead of their memory. That is where the concept of quasi-randomization comes in. It is like taking the randomness of a deck of cards but making sure you never get 4 aces in a row if you really wanted to avoid that cluster. It sounds simple enough, but doing this by hand for thousands of trials is a nightmare. You need a tool that can handle the heavy lifting. That is where this new software called ShuffleGo comes into play. It is a smart tool that takes a simple list of trials and shuffles them around while respecting the specific rules the researcher has set for them. The genius here is how it handles the math. The software offers 2 different ways to shuffle. The first one is the constructive approach, which is fast and great for everyday work. It is like a tidy person organizing a desk one item at a time. The second way is the Equiprobable approach. Think of this as the gold standard for fairness. It uses something called rejection sampling, which is essentially throwing away a result that does not fit the rules and trying again from scratch until you get a sequence that is truly unbiased. In previous years, researchers were stuck with clunky, outdated software or programs that were locked to one type of computer. Some of these older tools were so hard to use that you almost needed a computer science degree just to run a basic study. ShuffleGo changes this by being incredibly flexible. It works on basically any computer, and because it is open source, it is free for everyone to use and check for themselves. It even comes with a command line version for the tech wizards and a nice graphical interface for those of us who prefer clicking buttons. When we look at the big picture, this tool is not just for computer geeks. It is a massive win for the scientific community because it helps keep research honest. By removing those accidental patterns that sneak into our tests, we can be more confident that when a study finds a real effect, it is because of the psychology and not just a quirk of the list design. Of course, there is always a catch. This is not magic, it is math. Sometimes if the constraints are way too tight, like asking for a perfectly repeating pattern in a massive chaotic set, the software might just give up because it cannot find a solution that fits all your rules. It is good to remember that even the best tools have limits, and researchers still need to be mindful of how they structure their experiments. Future versions might even find faster ways to navigate those super complex scenarios. But for now, this is a huge step forward. It is really fascinating to see how the creator used artificial intelligence to help translate this code and even polish the paper itself. It shows that in modern research, computers are not just participants in the study, they are becoming our partners in the process. I love that the author kept clear boundaries about who gets the credit, making sure they take full responsibility for the final output. That is a level of transparency we need to see more of in science. If you ever find yourself designing an experiment or just want to organize your own data in a fair way, I highly recommend checking out the project on their website. It is a great example of how simple, accessible tools can have a big impact on the quality of our knowledge. So what do you think? Does this make you feel more confident about the science you read, knowing there are tools specifically designed to clean up the data? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this dive into the behind the scenes of research, do not forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more mind-bending science breakdowns. See you next time at the lab.